right, everybody, welcome to another episode 8 of Carpet Cliff Notes. I just want to throw out real quick, just so everybody knows, Carpet Cliff Notes is a separate podcast from Morelia Python Radio.
It has nothing to do with Morelia Python Radio at all. It just has the same host and is on the same network.
Yes, it's on the same network, but if you want to subscribe to Carpet Cliff Notes, look up Carpet Cliff Notes in whatever podcast app you choose, and you will find it. Subscribe. And yeah,
listen. Yes.
Yes. We'll get into that when we go to NPR. But
gotcha.
All right, we got to put on the right hats, Owen.
Yeah, we have the
hats here.
Short, simple, quick episode. Quick.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about an issue that seems to come up with carpet pythons a lot. It is switching prey items. Yeah, we're going to get into this and break it down, but I don't know. Has this been an issue for you, Owen, switch and prey?
It has not been. It was always something I was afraid of when I first coming into it, to the point where I would pride myself on my babies getting put onto rats as soon as humanly possible, because that's where they should have been. They should be on rats, and that's all a carpet python will ever eat is a rat. And that's a dumb way of thinking, having explored all the other stuff that I've fed to my carpet pythons and other stuff. So I will say that certain animals, and I'm not even saying I'm not going to say jungles. No. A certain animal, one or two animals in your collection can be picky feeders, and they can get locked on to something, and that's the only prey item that they will eat. Now, I don't understand why this is such a horrible thing, because it's eating. Who cares?
Right. Not eating what I wanted to eat.
I don't give a damn. It's but I've seen that with certain Morelia. I have my rough scale female. She doesn't want rats. She wants mice. So I just feed her 3 or 4 mice at a time. Whatever. Sometimes they do get caught on that. I do find that it was definitely something people would worry about babies as they're transitioning up from mice to rats as being where people might say they might have problems. And I've never seen anything like that with youngsters.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think some of the things that people are seeing is that the fact that they overfeed their animals, and they don't want to eat, probably because they feel like they're going to explode.
Yeah,
they eat another rodent.
That's the funny thing. It's I feed my snake only eats rats. I feed him every 2 days. Dear God, stop! It's like that.
So I guess with switch and prey items, I think we're talking about sort of like what you said, Owen. You have this, you have the neonate phase, you get them going.
Right.
I find that this could be the time when carpets can be the pickiest, right?
Yes.
Because in nature, they're eating skinks and other lizards.
Yeah.
Not
what we try to feed them. It's
no.
You gotta get their brain to figure out that what you're presenting them is food, and that can be hard sometimes. So I would say that carpets are their pickiest when they are juveniles, babies, neonates.
So somewhere along the way, there has been this myth that again, what you alluded to earlier is that, if you don't get them switched to rats,
they'll never switch.
They'll never switch over. They're going to eat it forever. Although I do like cheeseburgers, I would not want to eat cheeseburgers for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What I have found is that, listen, when you get a carpet python to about a year old, I'm pretty sure you could put a bolt in front of it, like a metal bolt. It'll eat it. If it's rolling. So if you're worried about transition, if they're about that year and a half old, you swap them from adult mice to rat pups. They'll hit it like rat weanlings, and then that's it. I've never had a problem with that. I've even had it where I have snakes on rat weanlings, and I run out of rat weanlings, and then I feed them a couple mice, and then when I get more rats, guess what? They eat the rats. So.
Yeah, I just never have run. I have run into some snakes that wouldn't eat. I think for me, and I put this in our show notes. I think for me, it seems to be and I could be wrong here, but it seems that jungles seem to be the ones that are the pickiest of
I would say they have the reputation, but I would also say that, like, out of all my adult carpets, the only one that is still on mice is a jungle male.
Right.
So I would say that, and he'll just ignore a rat. He won't even strike at it. Like, some will strike a rat and let it go, but he just doesn't care. So that is, and that happens. If certain animals are kept on mice, I think if you go beyond that year and a half into 2 years, 3 years with just one type of prey, then introducing a new one can kind of throw them for a loop. So,
see, yeah, I get that, but again, with me, I have never. So I keep my carpets hungry.
Yeah,
they're hungry.
Oh, I know.
Yes, so they want to eat.
Doesn't matter what's in front of them.
Put in front of them, they're going to eat. I think that really, again, this is just my opinion. Is that I think that a lot of people overfeed their snakes.
Completely agree. And
I think it leads to issues. Now, you also have typically, I'm not so sure with colubrids, but maybe you can hit on that in a second. But I think with most pythons, they sort of go through a seasonal fast, right? Some worse than others. You see it specifically. I see it a lot with male carpet pythons. As soon as I know that they're refusing food and they're cruising their tub, that's a good sign that
male carpets can't think about two things at once. It's either food or females. And but I'll say that colubrids do go through a seasonal fast, especially colubrids from North America in our area, because they'll burrow down and then nothing's coming out to where they're at. So they'll definitely do it. I would say that also with
even if you are.
Oh no! If I don't mess with their temperatures, they will keep eating till they die. It is.
So it really is temperature regulated,
right? Yeah.
I got you.
I'll say that also. I had when Glitch was young, he was eating rats and stuff with you. He came over to me. He kept eating rats, and then I couldn't get him to eat, and I got him eating chicks and quail, and then he wouldn't eat rats. So then I put him down for winter, brought him back up, where he had several months without food. And then all of a sudden now he wants rats again. So I want to say there is something to the feeding too much. And also, fasting is not, we have it ingrained in our heads that the snake needs to be healthy. Snake is healthy if it's eating.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true. It can be healthy without eating. Like, it's not a problem. So fasting can help.
I remember seeing pictures, and this was carpet specific. I'll have to see if I can look it up. I probably saved it somewhere. Anyway, the one thing that I noticed is that even animals that you would thought would be on the leaner side, when they died and they did a necropsy on it,
fatty tumors everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of fat.
Yeah, they can get them very quickly, and it's usually around the midsection down.
Yeah.
So it really packs in around the vital organs and the intestines and stuff like that. So it's not good. It's not good.
No. So I would say, as far as, I offer a variety prey. I think you do the same. I think I offer, and this would be to anything. It's not necessarily specific on size or whatever. Mice, rats, African soft furs, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, gerbils, chicken, quail, and you've even fed your babies fish. We can add that to the list.
Yeah, we can add that to the list. So as far as my carpets, I feed rats, mice, quail, chicks, and then I'll do chicken legs, drumsticks, turkey necks. I'll do fillets of fish with the skin on, and I'll also do whole fish if I can get them of the appropriate size.
Right.
As far as the babies, I have 2 baby carpet pythons that are solely on live fish right now because they refused everything else. And I had a couple extra from when I was feeding the rhinos. So I'm like, screw it. And they took it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, whatever. I guess in nature, they're not going to be picky about it. They're going to, what they can get.
If they're hungry enough and then something kind of speaks to the brain that this is prey, I don't care what it is. Even with the Dominican red mountain boas, you'll eat geckos. Guess I'm getting geckos. I never liked the idea of I'm going to force you until you eat this mouse. Like, and then just the stress and all this other stuff that can kill a snake. It's, I numerous times I'm coaching people through them having feed problems with babies. If, they bought it from me and it's just a little freaked out from the trip. And It's like, how often do I feed it? Leave it alone. What? I'm like, leave it alone. Like, no, don't touch it.
Right.
Like, offer it food.
Right.
Leave it alone. If it doesn't eat after this, what should I do? Should I feed next week? No, give it 2 weeks. Then go get it something alive. And then if that doesn't work, you can offer again. Like, they never go past the alive, because it's like, yeah, they're hungry. Yeah, they're scared. They don't want to eat. And then all of a sudden, now they've had 3 weeks. They've kind of settled in, and live food. And that just jumps right into their head, and they're at it. And after, of course, these babies have eaten with me numerous times, or I wouldn't have let them out the door. So it's just something to get them jump started. Sometimes variation of prey can actually get a nervous baby back eating. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, I think, so let's just say, and this does not necessarily switching prey items, but it's getting them going when you're trying to get them to feed when they're young or whatever. A trick that people use is something called chick down. So you should always have
always have a bag of chicks.
A couple of chicks in your freezer, ready to go, so you can cut a little of it down off. You sort of scent it, the prey item, whether mice, rat, whatever.
I used to put for the olives. Olive pythons love birds. They love them. So I just took the mice and I put chick down on like their head, and the olives just like nailed it, like they were going like it was crack. Like, I showed the olives the mice without the chick down on them. Didn't care. Put the chick down on it. They were like, the hell is this? And they just nailed it. And then after a couple feedings, I just stopped putting the chick down on it, and they just kept going. So sometimes it's getting them to recognize what you're offering is food.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one would be making sure that the prey item is warmed up.
Hot as shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So put it in, I just use hot water from the faucet, get it real hot.
What's funny is
throw it in there.
I saw there are these things now. They're for cooking steaks. Like, you fill up a big pan of water, and then you put like steaks in these bags in the water in the bath, and this big wand like cooks it and spins it. And I saw somebody on some Instagram or whatever. He had his food that he was getting ready for the snakes, and he had one of those things in it, so the water was constantly moving, and it was a set temperature of like 90 something degrees, like the water. So like, he's walking around and he's doing a bunch of snakes. So I don't know about you, but a lot of times the snakes at the end of the feeding schedule, they're mice. Like, I might have to go back and refresh in the water or whatever. Yeah. This dude, like, they're at a constant 90 degrees as he's walking around feeding, and I'm like, well, shit. Like,
it's a pretty good idea.
Might think about that. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've kept a lot of different pythons. I would say that for me, the one that I had the trickiest time with is like the Papuan python, not the Papuan carpet python, but the Papuan python. Because they have a tendency, if you don't offer them, the prey in a specific way, like the head has to be,
I hate those animals. Yeah, I hate them.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
I have my caramel tiger. She's like, no, it wasn't set at a 90-degrry angle. I dropped it. The cute bitch.
Right. I haven't really run into that with carpets. I mean, and my sample size is 200 plus. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't,
every animal,
had that issue.
Every animal's quirky. I mean, every animal. And like, dude, I would say that now, my animals, the way I'm feeding now, where it's sporadic and it's maybe like 2 weeks or something between feedings.
Yeah.
I'm not dumping rats out or throwing shit away. Everything is eaten. Like, if I thaw it, it's eating. Unless I accidentally miscounted. Like, no, they hit it hard. And it doesn't matter if it's a chicken leg or a rat. They'll hit it. So
I think that switching up the prey item is probably pretty beneficial. And that could just be me thinking that way, but I would think that, there has to, like, if you're eating just a laboratory mouse or rat, are there, nutrients or vitamins or whatever missing from their diet, and maybe offering up, different prey items could satisfy that.
It's good for them. It really is, and it's also good for you and your wallet. I mean, like the store up the street from me constantly has sales for like chicken drumsticks and stuff like that. So, and it's good variation. And medium rats are the most expensive thing in herpetoculture. Mix it up a little bit, and you'll be surprised. My snakes, I had a few that have bred now 2 years in a row. They're getting the ear off. They don't need the ear off. I'm just giving it to them. Like,
sure,
they gained all that weight back plus, and I'm like, all right, so.
Yeah. I and again, I guess the only carpet I can speak on would be the what do you call it?
Imbricata.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that hurt.
Yeah. Imbricata. Sorry. I got distracted for a second.
Well, actually, the one thing is, you got your dad like a bunch of frozen frog legs. I'm like, I'm gonna feed these to snakes. You're like, they're for humans. I'm like, I don't care. I haven't done that yet, but they're on my list of shit to try. Okay. So I bet you,
especially with you with all these weird colubrids and stuff.
Oh my god, it's so much, dude. People like big colubrids are hard. I'm like. You fill up a bowl of food and you put it in their cage.
Yeah, don't do that with your carpets, but
no, I mean, like, dude, but the Karibo, there's this bowl and it's got a small rat in there, couple cuts of fish, and then a couple chicken wings. I put that in there. They will eat it all.
Yeah, wow.
And that's just because, like, I don't feel like being downstairs and feeding them like other colubrid people where it's like, oh, every week. Like, no. They can go a couple weeks, but they gorge themselves when I feed them, and then that's it. Like, they're fine. Right. It's so much easier than everything else. Yeah.
So I think the last thing we'll hit on would be tips for switching, right? So my tip would be, I mean, obviously the first one would be setting, kind of like we talked about with the chicks. You can do that with mice. You can do that with rats. You can do that with African soft furs. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of getting their system going. I found that African soft furs in particular are Morelia crack.
Hairless rats as well are also, they smell really bad and they feel weird, but apparently carpets love them. I would say there's a bunch of different scents that you can buy online, like frog, gecko, lizard. Those can also help. I've even heard tuna fish and chicken broth that can be used to get snakes to eat as well.
Right. So that would be scenting. And then the other one that I heard, I've seen this from, actually Gavin Bedford did this.
Is it chain feeding?
Yes.
Yeah.
So his Owen pellet, again, carpets, not necessarily the same as Owen Pellies, but apparently they're kind of closely related and probably
close enough, damn it.
In with the scrubs and stuff, which we kind of thought, but we'll find out soon enough. Anyway, he sort of takes like, he'll take the I think he uses quail or chicks, some kind of bird, and then he'll tie like a rodent to it, and then they swallow the bird, and along with that goes the rodent. One of the things you could do with the scenting is that you scent it and then slowly back off of it. Till it's taking it without the scent. But I mean, that's that. I don't know, man. I just don't experience that. I'm sure, like you said, there's certain snakes that are individuals or whatever. And just like people, I'm sure that, some of them are picky about certain things, but I don't necessarily think that that's really Morelia spilota related. I think it's just, I think maybe you should take a step back, look at what you're doing as a keeper and see if you're maybe doing something wrong to why that animal would refuse a meal.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with walking away for a couple weeks. Like
Sure.
I remember somebody online was like, my snake won't eat, my snake won't eat, and I'm panicking.
Yeah.
And this thing was an adult male that was larger than most of my proven females,
Right.
and he feeds it every week. And I understand, you know, I totally do, because I was there at some point and everything like that. And I think a lot of people of us were. But it's okay to walk away. And if he's going to fast for a couple months, that's fine.
Right.
These animals are not eating that much in the wild at all. Yeah. And you got to think of it with this happy little medium of that you need to feed them to keep them healthy and happy. If you overfeed them, you will kill them. Like, you got to find the sweet spot.
Right. So, yeah, I guess that would be it when it comes to switching prey items. So if you have any other questions or comments, or maybe you would like to hear, some other specific topic, you can send them to info@MoreliaPythonRadio.com. So Carpet Cliff Notes is brought to you by the Morelia Python Radio Network. Say that.
They're a sponsor? Such crafty bastards. Anyway.
Be sure to check out our other podcast if you want more information on carpet pythons and other pythons, Indo-Australian pythons. And every once in a while, we talk about some other stuff. Check out Morelia Python Radio.
Yep.
And then we also have a new podcast that Owen and Riley are doing, Colubrid Corner. And then there's a new podcast that me and Rob Stone are doing called Student of the Serpent. So all
oh my God, there's so many now.
all accessible. All you have to do is go to your podcast app, and
it should just be one. For 10 years, there's just one. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.